It's time to take a TO with coaches Turner and O'Neill. Produced by Curtis Cross and engineered by DJ Chrissy.
It's time to take a TO with coaches Steve Turner and Casey O'Neill. Your new favorite podcast features conversation from the world of high school, college, and pro sports, along with other riveting content. Connect with us on Facebook and Instagram at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, or visit www.turnerando'neill.com. Be sure to listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Buzzsprout, and other popular podcast platforms. We also bring you Inside the Podcast each week, where you can view the podcast via our YouTube channel. Join the thousands who watch each week. Thanks to our partners, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage, the Tamara Cusick Team, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, the Insurance Alliance Group LLC, our sponsors, O'Neill Development LLC, Next Level Lacrosse, Peace Players International, A Squared Home and Office Solutions, and Collins Funeral Home. And our donors, Justin O'Neill, Winsight Media, and Redwood Investments. Take a TO with Coach Turner and O'Neill is produced by Curtis Cross and engineered by DJ Chrissy. Now we welcome you to today's episode as we take a TO with coaches Turner and O'Neill. Here's your host, Curtis Cross.
Welcome to episode 18 of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. It is with no easy task that we got here right now. We had some technical difficulties. You guys won't know it because we're going to air this show on Thursday. I am Curtis Cross, your host, and with me as always are coaches Steve Turner and Casey O'Neill. Each week, we invite you to the table for our podcast where we discuss high school, college, and pro sports. We hopefully bring you great content, and of course, we enjoy mixing it up, hosting a variety of guests, and building our listening and viewing audience. Listen to us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and just about anywhere podcasts can be found. Oh, I thought you were over there laughing at me.
No.
Are you good? All right. You can also come inside the studio via YouTube, I hope this week, because we had some technical difficulties. So greetings to our YouTube audience as well. We'd like to thank our partners, Insurance Alliance Group, LLC, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Healthy Baller, and the Tamara Cusick Team. We enjoyed last week's guests, Bobby Horsey from the Bullis School, and with an accomplished lacrosse playing and coaching career, along with DeMatha Catholic and Team USA Basketball's Mike Jones. They debuted part one of our Coaches Talk series, and more than 2,000 of you tuned in to listen to that episode. We will revisit the Coaches Talk series as we have some great guests lined up for future episodes. Now, let's hear from the crew. Fellas, hope you're doing better than I am. How was the weekend, Coach Turner?
The weekend was great. I guess filled with a little bit of anxiety.
Okay, well, yeah.
We got a big day tomorrow.
Tomorrow is the day, right?
We got a big day tomorrow. Yes, we do. Had some great talks with some good friends, some good old Blairites.
All right.
Last night, and just talking about what's up and coming, and as always, great time with the family. Got to relax a little bit.
Good.
Do a little selling, putting some stuff up on Poshmark.
All right.
And
check him out on Poshmark.
Definitely check it out. A lot of heat. A lot of shoe game. A lot of heat.
Okay.
But that was about it. And then just getting ready for the work week, and here we are.
All right. Coach O'Neill with the Clemson Tigers t-shirt.
We got the Clemson Tigers t-shirt on from a main man Cole down there in Clemson, South Carolina, supporting my boy.
Little foreshadowing.
Little foreshadowing here. It's Halloween this weekend. Now, it wasn't the Halloween that everybody's used to, right? People went to great lengths to give the kids some type of Halloween with, the distancing and the bag candies are already there at the end of their driveways or whatever it was. I saw people with PVC pipe that they were rolling the candy down.
I saw something like that on the news.
Yeah, the kids just holding out their bags. And so we had a good time, but my parents listened to the podcast. They loved 2 weeks ago the nice laugh that we had with the buckaroo.
Oh,
and
boy, the
outfit.
chaps.
So we went back to Halloween.
Oh, no, you didn't. Oh, boy. Oh,
This is circa, I don't know, maybe early 80s, but I
You
want
wanna
to go to the camera.
give him that camera right
but
there, Paula.
I want everybody to see the little man himself.
I got it right there.
There's Coach O'Neill.
There he is.
Hold on, we're going to bring this
He's
up.
going to walk over to that camera.
Show all of the audience.
Now you got to give him a different view. It's the wrong view.
Sorry. There,
there
we
he is.
go. A
Oh,
little
my.
buckaroo.
Holsters there, Chris.
You know, we don't need to air all of our
Are you
past
embarrassed
on this show?
Because I am proud of this Halloween costume.
This year, Halloween fell on a weekend.
You never dressed up for Halloween. You never had
No.
some fun with it.
If you can talk to Verna Cross, my mother, and find pictures, I welcome you to bring those on the show. She'll find them too,
Or
just to spite me.
if you talk to his wife, she might be able to find one.
That's not until Thanksgiving, the wives episode. By the way, we want to talk about that.
coming
When
up.
we take a TO, that for this show, that means take a time out. But Paula, you know what? I want to ask you about your weekend, and maybe you can tell folks what's coming up in a few weeks.
Certainly. Well, this weekend was awesome. It was a lot of relaxation. It was great weather, and until today, it was like frosty and cold. And yikes!
You whipped up some fajitas this weekend,
Sure did.
and a pot pie.
Homemade pot pie. I've never made it before. It was so good. And homemade breakfast for dinner. We had lots of cooking, apple crisp and
Brownies?
Brownies.
We did some things this weekend.
We did.
So that is a fall weekend.
It was a fall weekend, and we had some apple cider. But in a couple weeks,
We went to Larryland.
we did go to Larryland.
And the Bills took down the New England Patriots.
I mean, I believe that's
Buffalo
probably coming
Bills.
up. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So in a few weeks,
In a few weeks, the wives are taking over the TO show. So yes.
I love it.
Yes.
so you guys stay tuned for that.
So
The
get ready,
ladies,
guys.
yes, the ladies are going to take over the podcast for our Thanksgiving episode. This week, we have two special guests joining the podcast. You have heard about them both, and today we bring the coaches' sons to the show. Cole and Jared will join us today as we jump into a conversation about their athletic pursuits. Cole down at Clemson University and a former Purple Eagle lacrosse player, along with Jared, who currently walks the halls of Gonzaga and plays under his father, Coach Turner, as a Purple Eagle on the hardwood. Before we get in today's episode, though, I believe we have some housekeeping to address. The Dodgers are the World Series champs, and that means Coach Casey O'Neill, you owe me $1. I'm not going to play the LA song. I just want my dollar.
So a couple things here.
Does it include my dollar coming out of your pocket?
There's 95 cents for you here. I took 5 cents. I deducted 5 cents for a couple reasons. Number one,
I want my interest. What?
man, it was a 72-game season. It wasn't the full 162. Number two, I know it's still the World Series championship. Number two, Justin Turner and COVID and running out in that field. You're getting deducted points for that guy coming out to celebrate.
It's
We
his
can talk-
grandma's team.
We can talk about that too. The payrolls. There is one of the Dodgers makes as much money as the entire race.
That's not my problem. You made a bet.
Ready.
You know what? You were in sound mind and body when you made that bet. And why don't I get the full dollar? I didn't run out on the field.
If I give you this change, you put in your pocket, is the seat going to fall down too?
The people haven't seen it on camera yet. This seat, guys, won't stay up.
All right.
Everyone's got a seat here. Can I have my dollar?
There it is.
He's going to count it all, too.
Debt paid.
We don't know yet. Let me count it. Hold
The
on.
95.
It's
It's
only
25, 50,
it's a dollar.
75,
I brought another
85, 95, 96,
There's
97.
pennies and everything.
You paid me $1.
Take it.
That's too much.
Take it.
Just for my good looks.
It's for the chair and the hat. There you go.
Coach Turner, why'd they bring your grandmother into this?
His grandmother
My
loved.
grandmother's a big
I
Dodger
know.
fan. My
Congratulations to
great-grandmother's
Los
a big
Angeles
Dodger fan.
Dodgers.
Awesome.
All right, so I got to believe that Rays manager Kevin Cash overthought and overmanaged Game 6. Blake Snell had thrown just over 5 innings, gave up only 2 hits, and the earned run he did get was on a base runner that his reliever allowed to score. 9 strikeouts, and he's pulled, and that's when the wheels came off. Did Kevin Cash, did he overmanage this thing?
Plain and simple, yes.
Yeah, he did. But those teams stick to those analytics. There's a couple ball clubs that just stick to them and they play them. I'm sorry, World Series or the Division Series, whatever it is, you do whatever it takes to win. We've won some sloppy, unnormal games in the biggest of stages, for us. And it's like, well, you made that one close. I'm like, I don't care. We won the game. You do whatever you can to win the game. you go with that guy. So
Nine. He's striking out an average of about 2 batters per inning. He gave up 2 hits only. Why is he not? And you saw he was a little ticked off.
He was upset.
He took a TO. He was ticked
He was
off.
a little bit just a little
was
fired.
upset.
Fired up.
In that situation, man, we got to win to keep it going. So
Right.
I leave him in.
I leave him in.
But it's tough when you're managing baseball and you got pitchers and relievers and different guys, and especially in MLB recently, the starting pitchers will pitch or come in off the bullpen on short days rest.
Right.
And so you'll have somebody, I forget the name of the Astro last year, but the Astros decided to bring in somebody else.
A starter, right?
Yeah, no, a reliever. And then they had that guy, what's his name? He's with the Yankees now. Is it Cole? Jared Cole? Is that right? Anyway, but a lot of unorthodox things happen. You just do whatever it takes to win, and if that guy's drop the analytics out the window, man. Game 6, you gotta get to Game 7.
Well, and unfortunately they didn't, and now I'm $1 richer. Thank you, Coach O'Neill.
$1.
$1 richer. Let's go to break, and we're coming right back. O'Neill Development is a construction, remodeling, and development firm that has been active in Maryland, Virginia, Washington, D.C., and the Eastern Shore since 1975. O'Neill Development specializes in custom residential work, providing extensive pre-construction and construction services. Find us at www.o'neilldev.com or call 301-840-9310.
Be sure to listen at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Buzzsprout, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, or Google Podcasts. Download the app and subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode of Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill.
Coach Turner here. Check out this week's episode drop and tell a friend to join the team at Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill by following, subscribing, and liking the show. One headline is brought to you by
Insurance Alliance Group manages the gap between damage appraisal estimates from your insurance company and what you are rightfully owed based on your policy. They work on behalf of policyholders with claim assistance and disputes to maximize claims. Insurance Alliance Group serves as professional advisors and trusted advocates. The Insurance Alliance Group handles business and home property loss. Visit us at insurancealliancegroup.com or call 866-574-4773.
Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill.
And we're now up to our one headline. Simple, guys. Are the Patriots done?
Well, I will say this. The biggest cure in an NFL team is coming up for them next week. They got the New York Jets.
Oh, boy. So
That'll help a little bit. But I'm never going to count that coach out up there in New England. And I know people are starting to say, ooh, Tom Brady. You know, they messed up with him going there, but or losing him or not re-signing him. But I still believe in Belichick. I still think that there's something he has yet to prove. I don't think they're done, but everyone is about the now right now. It's like, what are you doing for me now? It happens. Some teams kind of fall off a little bit, and I believe he'll bring it back and he'll do something. But I'm sure that's not the answer. A lot of people want to hear, like a Buffalo Bills fan over here would love to see the Patriots fall out. The Miami Dolphins. You know, looking at that division for years, it's been dominated by the New England Patriots. Mm-hmm. And you've got two teams, I think, in the Dolphins and the Bills doing it the right way. The Jets are a mess. I mean, they're years away from getting it.
Yeah, they are.
So, I don't think they're completely done this year. No, it's not going to be good, but I don't think he's done yet.
All right. Coach Turner, are the Patriots done?
I don't think completely done. I think for this year, yeah, I think they're done.
They could peel off 8 in a row right now.
They could. They definitely could. I mean, we could see that happen with a bunch of teams that are in the NFL. Right. But I can't count him out as a coach.
No.
He's going to figure out something to give themselves a shot at it.
What about Cam? What do you think of Cam right now?
I think he's hating life because he that fumble.
Yesterday.
He was pissed with himself.
He was not happy.
Yeah.
But was it Zimmer?
Yeah.
The linebacker that came up and gave him that tomahawk, and that ball came loose.
Are people going to feel bad? Nobody would feel bad for the Patriots. No.
Oh, no.
I don't think anyone will.
No one's going to feel bad for them.
All right.
Just them feeling bad for themselves.
So that is the headline of the week. Are the Patriots done? Ladies and gentlemen, that is your one headline.
I'm Coach Casey O'Neill with Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Advertising opportunities are available, so why not gain the exposure of our listeners by becoming a donor, sponsor, or partner? Simply contact our producer, Curtis Cross, and we can get you started today.
Thanks to our partners, the Tamara Cusick Team, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage, Healthy Baller, and Insurance Alliance Group, LLC. Our sponsors, O'Neill Development, LLC, Next Level Lacrosse, Peace Players International, A Squared Home and Office Solutions, and Collins Funeral Home. Our donors, Redwood Investments, Justin O'Neill, donor, and Winsight Media.
Winsight Media, connecting the food and allied retail industries through research, media, and events. Visit www.winsightmedia.com for more info.
Redwood Investments. We are a private investment firm providing growth capital for acquisitions, roll-ups, and management-led buyouts. Visit redwoodinvestments.com or call 202-333-1395.
If you have a question for the fellas, submit your question or show idea right on our website. Go to www.turnerandoneal.com and click Submit Your Idea.
Become a friend of the program. Friendship level contributions start at just $25. Each contribution helps to fuel Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. To find out more or make your contribution, go to www.turnerandoneal.com and click Friends of the Podcast. Portions of the podcast were previously recorded. Now, back to Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Ladies and gentlemen, we're up to the starting five. Can we already? Oh, look, first of all,
reset.
I produced the show, okay? Can I get some? Yes, dear. This is our starting five. 5 questions, 30 seconds each for each coach. You get to defer once per set of starting 5. These coaches have never seen these questions before. I eliminate them when I send them the script so they see blank lines. Let's go for it. Coach Turner, if you were to receive back all of the items you've ever misplaced or lost in your life, what would you look for first? A big box of everything you've ever lost in your life. What would you look for first?
Oh, that's easy. My high school ring.
You lost that?
Yeah, I think it was stolen, but it's nowhere to be found.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I lost it in college.
Yep. Why is that crazy?
That's crazy because I was doing a gig at Martin's Crosswinds, put my suit coat on the back of a chair, and I think my college ring or high school ring fell out of it, and I didn't realize it till later, and mine's gone too.
Yeah, that would definitely be my high school ring.
All right. Coach O'Neill, what would you look for first in that box of things you've lost over the years?
So I'm kind of on the same lines as you, Coach Turner. I had a great letter jacket. Love the letter jacket. And it was misplaced, not by me. And anyway, it's gone. I would love to get that letter jacket back. And, speaking of the guests we're having.
Was it a little letter you got on that jacket?
Oh,
you didn't get the bold one,
the
did you?
big old G on there with the pins. Come on, man.
The lowercase G, right?
Come on. Talking JV over here. So, hey, but one cool item is my old man had his 1959 city championship
Get outta
jacket,
here.
and he gave it to Cole because Cole was the oldest grandchild.
That's
So
awesome.
Cole was actually wearing it. We talked to Caleb Williams a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
That famous first championship on a Hail Mary pass. Cole was wearing that jacket that night. And we had a picture on the field after the game with my dad, Cole, and me, and Cole had that jacket. It was pretty cool. So,
I don't know if it gets much cooler than that.
that picture was
awesome.
special.
That's awesome.
So very cool. But
All right.
yeah, letter jacket, man.
I'm bringing it back to you, sir. Favorite TV show growing up,
Okay.
besides Buckaroo Banzai?
All right. This as a little child, I loved Buck Rogers.
All right, I've never seen it.
Loved
But okay.
Buck Rogers, and I'll take it a step further because I know that Paula's got that time going on there. As a little kid on car trips, I didn't know. You don't know time. Like, what's 30 minutes? How much longer? What's an hour? They'd say, "We got 3 more Buck Rogerses." So I knew.
Okay,
I'm
so-
like, "Oh, it's gonna be a long ride."
Mine was Sesame Street.
Right.
But you got to watch your Buck Rogers.
Buck Rogers. Well, not in the car, but I would. That would give me how long, like
Yeah.
the time was. That's how I could. So I loved that show as a kid.
All right. What about you? Favorite TV show growing up?
There's many of them. I don't know. I had a lot of them.
All right. Well, we'll take more than one.
I was a big Bugs Bunny fan.
All right.
Loved Bugs Bunny as a cartoon. And it's probably, not my younger youth, but my older youth, Martin.
Martin. All right.
Yeah.
Martin.
Lawrence.
Martin.
I was a Tom and Jerry guy myself.
I love Tom and Jerry, too.
All right.
What about the Roadrunner? The Wile E. Coyote.
yeah.
I wanted that coyote to, sorry, folks.
Get caught.
Just
Go off the
just
cliff
one
once.
time, just trip like, and then
What about Foghorn Leghorn?
Foghorn Leghorn.
I said, boy. I said, boy. You a chicken hawk. All right. A total stranger to coaching comes along, and they are set to coach their first team. One piece of coaching advice you would start them with, Coach Turner.
Set boundaries.
All right. For parents, fans,
For everybody.
everybody.
Just
Great.
set boundaries.
Okay. Set boundaries. What about you, sir?
that communication is very important.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking along the lines of talk to your seniors, and again, whatever level it is, but talk to the leaders of the team and have open conversations and start to build that trust with their feedback from the get-go. That honesty,
Mm-hmm.
and not just doing it your way, but really that inside out with the kids so that they can build your trust sooner.
By the way, Wims got suspended. You know that. What was he thinking the other day? What was he thinking yesterday? The Chicago guy?
I don't know, but that was
That was
That
terrible.
was bizarre.
Yeah, it was. Coach O'Neill, coming back to you. Proudest moment you've ever had of your son?
oh man, I got a lot.
Since we have him on the show tonight.
Yeah, I got a lot. Man, there's two, but
Okay.
I'm going to go.
Give me
with-
two. We'll
I'm
take two.
One was I'll never forget getting in the car with him the night he found out he made the varsity lacrosse team as a sophomore.
Right?
We weren't supposed to release the list until the next day, but I told him, and just the relief because I knew how hard he worked,
Right.
and just seeing that, and he was I've never seen him so proud of himself, and
Okay.
that's one side, and the other one was him graduating high school. Just to see him, to be able to hand him the diploma as an employee, get to do that.
Oh, yeah.
You get to
Awesome.
do that in 2 years, Coach Turner. And proudest moment,
Hopefully.
And he's so.
Hopefully.
There's two right there, but just he makes me proud every day.
Coach Turner, you have two sons, so I'll give you two answers if you want. But for the young man we're going to have in studio today, proudest moment you've had of that young man who's looks like a grown man, Jared.
That's hard because there's so many of them. I think for him, I think the one that stands out probably was the opportunity of being able to coach his team and him be a part of us winning a national championship in the AAU. Like that whole ride. It wasn't
Right.
just one. It wasn't just one game or one moment. Maybe, and if it was a moment in terms of the sport piece, it would have been we were playing in a tournament down in North Carolina, and I know everyone expected me to make the call for some other guys on the team because we had some very talented guards, but I made that call for him, and he hits the game-winning three to win the game, and had a parent on that team who actually videotaped it, and you hear that parent yelling, "No," and he cashes out because he wanted me to make the play for his son.
Right.
So for him to have to kind of eat crow
Yeah.
in the midst of Jared making that shot,
Right.
definitely a proud moment.
Nothing felt better, huh?
Oh no, I play that. I watch that recording a lot.
And you
I bet
probably
you do.
replay it in your head all the time.
Sometimes
too.
you got to be careful how you get recorded.
Right. What about Christian?
For Christian,
Throw the buzzer out the window. We got to hear this stuff.
These are serious questions. I can't have a buzzer now.
Family first.
him, I think a couple of them stand out for me. I think one was him making the decision to come here and do his freshman year of high school, and then him leaving. And
Okay.
the leaving part is because of why he left. I won't talk directly to what that was, but his maturity and being able to make a decision that I hated. I think sometimes ultimately cost him some things, but for a young man growing into a man and the reasons why he did it, I'm certainly proud of him of that. And then watching him when he got to sign his letter to commit to his college for hoops. That was big.
We're going to have my son on here for just a little bit today. I would say when he got into private school, that he had seen his sister do it. He had seen the relationships that she built. I think he was jealous. She was getting some play dates and she was making new friends and that kind of thing. And, we were at parent-teacher conferences for our daughter, and a young lady, DJ Chrissy, she was home with the kids, and the box came in the mail with the mascot, the T-shirt. There's this whole box that says, welcome to, Landon. And I got that right when I was leaving Chelsea's math parent-teacher conference. And the first person I told was not her. She was already down the hall to the next one. It was the math teacher, was right there. And then we surprised him. And we had a cake for him already made and all that. And for him to realize, he's like, wait, I got in? And he was so excited.
So cool.
He's
That
only
is so
10,
cool.
so there aren't as many big moments. I mean, for him, a big moment is when he hits a free throw, So anyway, let's get to number 5. Coach O'Neill, you were given $50,000. What do you do with that money?
$50,000.
It's real simple. Besides pay off your gambling debts, which won't even cover it, but still.
$50,000 is the sensible is going into college education, but I'd love to get the wife, maybe a car, help her out, get a car, something like that. $50,000, something nice.
She's got a car now, right?
Sweet. Yeah, but
you want a new fresh ride
for her, yes.
Okay, Coach Turner.
That's a lot of pasta you could buy with $50,000.
Whoa! See, that's
she brought
funny.
it your way.
That's funny. Well, shoot, we could fly to Italy and have the real thing.
Yeah, you could.
Nice.
I'm gonna jump in front of him. I'm going to T. Rowe Price. I'm investing Roth IRA. I'm diversifying that money.
Yeah. That's the right thing.
I would definitely go with you, Curtis. On
Make
that.
it grow.
I'm gonna make it grow.
There you go.
I'll put it in a position to grow so that everybody can get a piece of it.
Everybody can eat off that, right? Make it grow. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your starting 5. The starting 5.
Hi, this is Coach Casey O'Neill, and I'm inviting you to join me, Coach Turner, and the Take a TO team for this Thursday's episode drop.
Since 1939, the Collins family has served families of Montgomery County and Greater Washington with dignified professional service in their time of need. We continue the same family tradition today at our funeral home located just off the Beltway in Silver Spring, Maryland. Our family of experienced funeral directors stand ready to assist you around the clock 365 days a year. Whether you wish to pre-plan or you have experienced a loss, please contact us to discuss how we can assist you at your time of need. Call 301-593-9500 or visit collinsfuneralhome.com.
Become a friend of the program. Friendship level contributions start at just $25. Each contribution helps to fuel Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. To find out more or make your contribution, go to www.turnerando'neill.com and click Become a Friend. This segment of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by...
From Washington, D.C. to Ocean City, Woodbridge to Columbia, Richmond to Virginia Beach, the hottest DJs are right here. The Mid-Atlantic Professional DJ Association.
Can you feel the power?
You become the star right here with the DJ Chrissy Karaoke Show. Choose your song and step to the mic.
Now, back to Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first guest is a 2019 graduate of Gonzaga College High School, winning a title in his junior and senior year. Cole O'Neill went on to play lacrosse in college at Furman and now plays club lacrosse at Clemson University. While at Gonzaga, Cole played 2 years of soccer and excelled at lacrosse under his father, Coach Casey O'Neill. Now here to share his experience, we welcome Mr. Cole O'Neill. Cole, are you there?
Yep, I'm right here.
All right, Cole, thanks for taking the TO with us today. How's it going down there in Clemson?
So far, it's good.
All right, you guys you had to sweat it out a Boston College game this past weekend, didn't you?
Yeah, that was an exciting game. It was a little close there.
Too close for comfort. Well, look, Cole, we often ask about you here on the podcast. You've been in the studio. We're happy to have you as our guest today. We've got your father and, of course, Coach Turner in the studio today. Gentlemen, please greet our guest, Cole O'Neill.
Cole, what's up? It's your pops, Coach O'Neill here. I've never done an interview of you in this capacity, so I'm pumped to have you on the show, my buddy.
Cole, it's Coach Turner here. Excited to.
Hey, Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm excited to hear from you tonight. We've been talking about this for a while. We do definitely talk about you and think about you as we're on the podcast weekly. So I'm excited to hear about some of your experiences and to talk to you back about some things that went on when you were at Gonzaga.
Let's do it. All right, Cole, I want to get right into the conversation. Your spring semester looked a bit different, I'm sure, than what you were planning for. Unfortunately, Furman, where you were, dropped lacrosse along with baseball due to the pandemic, and then you had a choice to make. Talk to us and tell our listeners what that time was like and how you and your family had to make the decision to take your education elsewhere.
Yeah. We were surprised. I wasn't expecting that to happen. And everyone in my freshman class, we all thought, like, if lacrosse isn't at Furman, we're not going to stay. So we all decided to look elsewhere. I looked at some schools, and me and a couple buddies, we really like Clemson a lot. We're familiar with the area. It's about 30 minutes away from Greenville, where Furman was. So we made the choice to come here, and it's been great ever since.
Cole, Coach Turner here. I want to continue on that conversation a little bit. You know, we always talk about, and I've heard your dad say it, and I certainly say it, we talk about making choices on places where you feel like, what can I do if the ball or the stick stop bouncing or drop and I don't have it anymore? And you were fortunate enough to now be able to make a decision to go somewhere else and still be able to have the stick in your hand. Talk about what made you make that decision, and how did you come to making that choice?
Yeah. So, I mean, lacrosse is something I've grown up playing. I love it. And to be able to play it at another school and to continue to play that, it means a lot. It makes me happy. So, I think that was a good decision. And it definitely was something that was a factor in where I was going to go, because I wanted to continue to play somewhere.
Hey, Cole. It's weird to say Coach O'Neill. It's your dad here. So
I love it.
Yeah.
So look, me and mom and I interview you almost every other day. We talk on the phone. How's school? How's lacrosse? How's social life, or whatever type of social life in terms of, COVID down there. But so you're always getting interviewed by your parents. But I want to take something back further, because I don't know if I've ever asked you this. We've had a deep conversation. Is there something that you would have ever done differently or tried something different going back to high school that maybe you look back and you're like, I wish I had played this, or I wish I had done this, or I wish I had studied that? Is there anything there that you kind of go back and you're saying, I wish I'd done that?
Yeah, I've actually thought about that before. I think the biggest thing would be to play more sports, especially like my first few years there. Just to try a ton of sports, you meet more people, and I don't know, it just seemed like a good experience.
All right, Cole, here's my question for you. Let's get into the car on the ride home from practice. Dad rides you hard at practice one day, but you got to get in the car and go home with him, and you got to sit at that dinner table. What was that like? My dad didn't coach. I wasn't a great athlete, so I don't have that experience. What is it like playing for Coach? Look, I have to do a podcast with him. I know it ain't easy, but what is it like playing for Dad?
That's a good question. So after practice, we, for the most part, like, we were really good about keeping lacrosse on the field when it needs to be. And then afterwards, it was like every other family, everything else was fine. Like when we got in the car, it's usually the first time during the day I'd really see him, because I'd be at class all day and then go to practice. So it'd mainly be like, how was your day? Like, what'd you do? Like, how are your classes going? But it never was like lacrosse all the time, like a lot of people think. So I think we were very good with keeping a good balance and knowing when to talk about lacrosse and when to just be a normal family.
Normal? I don't know. I think you, your mom, And I think the girls normal, but I don't know about your pops, man. I see him more than you do right now, don't I?
Cole knows a few. Cole and I like to joan, as we call it, or most people, and call each other Bamas. We've mentioned that on the show.
Yes, we have.
Bama. But I'm gonna jump in real quick.
I didn't even ask you a question, did I?
I know, but I think with Cole he is always if he wanted to talk about practice or he wanted to talk about the game or things like that, and he would. I tried my hardest not to bring it up, but if he wanted to talk about it, then we'd break it down. And then unfortunately for Cole, you'll remember this. After a bad practice or after a bad game, I mean, he was almost like an assistant coach sitting there with me because I would just go off.
Got to be a student, right?
Not off on him, just on all the things going on. So poor Cole would have to hear me just vent a little bit.
All right. Coach Turner.
So, Cole, you also not only got a degree from Gonzaga, you're certainly about to get a degree from Clemson. Sounds like from Dad, you also got a PhD in psychology. Because you've had to probably talk him off the fence a few times on those car rides home. But Cole, I'm gonna ask something pretty serious, and I certainly would love to hear your answer on this. What is the one thing that, if you had to go today, that you can say you took away from your dad? What life lesson that you would want to share maybe with your kids when you become a dad that your dad has shown or given to you?
Okay. I mean, I've learned a lot of things from him. All good things, core values from the program stuck with me. But I think the biggest thing is just, I mean, just treat everybody with respect and kindness. I think my dad does a great job of that. Anybody he meets, he's always talking to anybody that's a freshman to a senior. He's reaching out to them. He's talking to them. And he's just, I don't know. He treats everyone very kindly. And that's something that I definitely would want to carry over, teach my children that. It's just a great value overall.
Great answer.
All right.
Thank you, son. I appreciate that. Cole, I'm going to ask you a question about outside of family. Who are some of it can be athletes, it can be anybody that kind of inspire you and get you fired up to, whether it's academics or sports? I mean, name a couple people or one person that motivates you outside of family.
Outside of family, I got to think about this one.
Okay, well, inside of family, not maybe all right, I'll bring it back. So inside of family, and anybody you want to name.
You just want him to say you?
No,
Is that what you
not
want?
me, not me or mom. I'm just asking the questions, man.
All right. Father, sons, I get it. All right. Cole, who's that person for you? Who are those people for you? Look, I know your parents raised you to be a fine man, and there's someone that they introduced you to you can look out to or look up to that helped you to steady the ship sometimes. Right. Who would that be?
When I think back, I think of our family friend. Wow, I'm blanking.
Coach DeLonga?
What's that?
I said Coach DeLonga. Is that who you're thinking of?
Coach DeLonga. Yeah, no, exactly. I've always called him Coach DeLonga. I wanted to put the first name in there, Nick DeLonga. Nick DeLonga, absolutely. I always think of him. He served in the military. He played lacrosse in college too. Now he's a family man now, and he's always been there. I've known him for a while, and I just always think that he has his act together. He's got his values together, and it's someone that I definitely look up to.
So for those that don't know, Coach DeLonga is a DeMatha grad. He won a couple national championships, right, Cole, down at Limestone in South Carolina, Division II, one of the top programs. But we've known him for a while. We've coached together, and he was your confirmation sponsor.
Oh, wow.
And just always took a liking to Cole, and that's a great answer, by the way, Cole. Good job there.
All right, young man, for those who are looking at schools now, I want you to give your 30 or 60-second spiel to student athletes or families who are looking at private schools now. Not just Gonzaga, but what do you think they should consider when looking at schools? You got a 7th or 8th grader. They're athletically or academically inclined. What would you tell them is important to look at in a school?
So I wouldn't you hear about prestige and ranks and all that. I wouldn't worry about that too much. Go on your shadow, go on your open house, look at the school, meet a couple people who might go there too. And if you like them, that could help. But just go to a place where you feel comfortable, where you're not having too many worries about things, but also a place where it's easy to get to. And mainly just comfortability. You don't want to be somewhere that you're dreading to go to every day.
Excellent, excellent.
Cole, it's Coach Turner again. Talk to the listeners about and tell them what is your one greatest moment in life. And it doesn't have to be sport. It could be something that happened in the classroom. But what do you feel like is that one, for you, that one greatest moment in life?
One greatest moment in life. I've got a couple of those. The one that really sticks out to me was it is a sports moment, but the senior year lacrosse championship to end my 4-year campaign. And just I just remember being on the field, taking that photo with my mom, my dad, and my 2 little sisters. And it was just kind of a culmination of everything. To go out like that was amazing. And it's a memory I always have.
That's awesome. If you had another one, feel free to go with it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I got to think about this then. Getting into, I'd say getting into Furman, that would be a big deal for me. Like first college, did a lot of work prepping for all of that academically, and to see all that pay off was a big deal.
Well, Cole, I hope in that moment you were proud of yourself. You deserve. I think we have to stop every now and then and recognize what we've done. Be proud. Understand the work is not done, but be proud for at least a moment that you did what you set out to do there. I do have a question. I need an answer from you on this, though, Cole. I hear you like to fish. So who's the better fisherman, Cole? You or the gentleman sitting across the table from me in the studio? Who's the better fisherman, Cole?
Man, I think he knows that answer. I got to say it's me.
Oh, okay.
All right. You left a couple of those fishing rods back at the house, so you come back for Thanksgiving.
He wanted you to learn. That's why. He wanted you to learn.
Absolutely.
I was leaving though for you to get some practice in.
All right. I see it. Absolutely. Listen, Cole, I don't have any more questions, but it's always a pleasure to obviously hear your voice. Your mother misses you, by the way. She just texted me before the show, and your little sisters do, and we're going to see you soon enough. But it is probably one of my proudest moments is just being your father and watching you grow. You're probably one of the coolest, calmest, and most you talked about being kind, kindest people I know. So I am so proud of you. We in the Take a TO fam are proud of you, and just keep doing your thing down there. We legit, Curtis asks about you every single week on the show. So love you, my friend. Love you.
Cole, keep doing your thing, man.
Thank you.
Cole, this is Coach Turner again. Keep doing your thing down there. We're proud of you. And finish up strong. Keep repping your family the way that you do.
Hey, Cole, real quick.
Absolutely.
Curtis,
Thank you, Coach.
I want to win $1 back. Are you willing to bet Curtis the Notre Dame Clemson game this weekend?
I'm not betting. Well, you can't. So what are you doing in my pockets?
Wait, that could be an NCAA violation.
We have no Trevor Lawrence this weekend.
Oh, they'll still win. Clemson's still winning.
How are you in my pockets? That's my money to bet. Cole, I'll text you later. Don't worry about that. Cole, look.
All right.
I'm guessing you'll be back toward the end of this month to rejoin the family for Thanksgiving. By the way, did you know your mom, Coach Turner's wife, and my wife are taking over the podcast Thanksgiving week? Did you know that?
No, this is the first I'm hearing.
Oh, yeah, they're taking over the podcast. The ladies are running the show. But look, I hope to see you in studio maybe over Thanksgiving or the winter break. Thanks for taking TO with us today and contributing to the father and son episode. Hope we didn't embarrass you too much. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach Casey O'Neill's son and our favorite sophomore, Mr. Cole O'Neill.
Buddy.
Thanks, Cole.
Thanks, Cole.
Thank you. I hope to see you guys soon.
See you, buddy.
All right,
Later.
sir.
So I had to write a couple of notes down because this is a theme. Chris Likes, Caleb Williams, and now Cole. They said, don't go for the prestige. Go for where you're comfortable and where you fit in at these schools. And if all of them are saying it, there's got to be some truth to it. But he came through. I remember Chris. I'm sure someone else said it. Max may have said it. But Chris Likes and Caleb Williams both said, go see the school. Who cares if they have the best basketball or the best STEM program? You got to feel comfortable there as well. And your son just said that as well.
I'm proud of that young man. Very, very proud. And when we were getting ready for this show, I was thinking about the show all day long because I just love talking to my boy. But you know what it brought me back to was obviously, coaching him. Did I do the right things? Did I say the right things? But it is those conversations in the car, Steve. I'm not even lying. Not about how he played or things that happened, but for him to kind of talk me off of driving that car into the back of another car. And then it brought me back to how long he's been around the game. I mean, he was just a little mighty mite, and he would be on the sideline, and he'd be on the team bus when he was like fifth grade, sixth grade.
What is he, 19 now?
He turns 20 on November 18th at the end of this month.
Okay.
But going back to seeing him sit next to like a 6'6" defender on the bus going up to road trips in New York or up to Pennsylvania, and he'd come on those overnight trips, and no joke, and it'd stay, he'd be in my hotel room, and then he'd come with the team, and that to me was the coolest part, or coming to the camps and then working the camps. Now he does his own camps. So,
right?
Yeah, the kids in the neighborhood are just, Cole. And so just proud of him. That was cool.
Those are the moments that the people don't understand. And,
right.
Yeah.
And they're special to you as a coach, and certainly even more special to you as a dad. I can think of a lot of them between the different trips that both Jared and Christian have been able to be on with me and traveling to events. And that's the part I think people miss in terms of our players, in terms of their humility and their ability to take on these young fellas almost like they're their little brothers. I mean, half the time they're running around with them. They're in their rooms playing on their PlayStation, the Xboxes. Coach, we got him. He's good. I'm worried about them, hazing or razzing them or something. Right. But nah, those guys look out for him like he's their. Those guys are their little brothers, and that's something that when you bring your program together and you want that program to be a family. There's no better way.
You can live your truth. You can have your family there. And my family
easy.
My daughters are at practice. They're always, weekends, travel. I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way.
But outside of the sport, what you're doing is you're showing those young men what is important in life.
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah. So they know when they have a little nephew or a little son or whatever, they know that, this is how, you can role model for a young man.
Well, I think Casey and I, we talk about it all the time, is that we always try to take different opportunities to go and play in different places because of giving life experiences. And our sons have been able to experience, and daughters have been able to experience those life experiences with our team that has nothing to do with sport.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Important lessons. There's more to lacrosse than lacrosse, right?
Absolutely.
There's more to basketball than basketball. Paula, please take us to break.
Train like a Spartan. Next Level Lacrosse is dedicated to providing a terrific lacrosse experience that is intensely focused on player development and character formation. Players at all levels will improve significantly through professional coaching and carefully designed training programs that stress proper technique and a tireless work ethic. You'll find us at www.nextlevelspartans.com.
Connect with us socially on Instagram and Facebook at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, on YouTube, just search Turner and O'Neill, then subscribe. And of course, you can visit our website at www.turnerandoneil.com.
If you are looking to increase sales and gain exposure, partnership opportunities are available. Contact our producer, Curtis Cross, today to get started. Email turnero'neillpodcast@gmail.com to get started.
This segment of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by Real Estate is more than just houses. It's about people, too. The Tamara Cusick team offers an all-inclusive approach, making the home buying and selling process efficient, financially smart, and stress-free for you. From home prep-up to complimentary staging, expert counsel to an experienced and qualified team of professionals, let's chat houses. Visit www.tamaraforhomes, that's the number 4.com, or call 301-780-4663. Now, back to Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Ladies and gentlemen, our next guest is our first in-studio guest here on the podcast. As a class of 2022 Purple Eagle, Jared Turner is a member of the basketball program, and of course, he is Coach Turner's son. He excels not only at basketball, but as well as a lacrosse player. And about 15 minutes ago, I saw him excelling at Madden, beating my son 100-52 in Madden. He continues to prepare for his future in athletics, and we are pleased to welcome him into the studio for today's episode, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jared Turner. Jared, you are our first in-studio guest, and we welcome you to the show for our father-son episode. Look, I got dinner in there for you. You can at least do me a favor, not whoop my son that bad. How's it going, Jared?
I'm going pretty well, actually. I just had my physical today, so I don't know. I think that's like kind of it speaks to like on like an impending like danger of like what's gonna happen with school and stuff. Like it's I don't know. Everything seems so uncertain.
It's a crazy time. I know. Look, this is an important episode for us because we'd like you to tell your story as we did with Cole moments ago. So let's get started. Look, just a few years ago, you were at Mater Dei. I remember seeing the photos, and you were not the 6'6" man that you are right now. But when it came to the decision for your next 4 years, what went into the decision in terms of the schools you and your family were considering?
Well, I mean, it was Gonzaga all the way. Like, I like wanted to say to them, like, oh, I have a choice. Like, maybe I'll go to good counsel. Maybe I'll go to one of these other schools. But it's always been Gonzaga. Like, I've just grown up there. Like, it's basically my home away from home.
Right. Well, I've seen you down there for a number of years at those Madness events, and I'll never forget the image I have of you. You were dribbling the ball between your legs, sitting down on one of those nice, comfortable Gonzaga cushy chairs, and I'm like, this kid is doing it. And then each successive year, he went from 5'5" to 5'8" to 5'9", and I haven't seen you since the last Purple Eagle Madness, and you had to have grown 7 or 8 inches since the last time I've seen you. Coach O'Neill, what do you have for this young man?
I'm going to get things started here. Obviously, you just mentioned it with the pandemic and things and the uncertainty. Take that all out, okay? What are the things that motivate you? So I want to kind of get in the head here of Jared Turner. What motivates you to be the ball player you are, to be the student that you are? Kind of gets you up and gets you fired up each day.
Well, ever since high school started, I feel like I've had something to prove to a bunch of people, like my dad especially, my friends, just being his son, being like the son of such an astounded like God. Just he's so
he is pretty special.
This guy here?
But so are you. Come on.
I just want to be the best person I can be, honestly, in all aspects of life. Like, if you take him out of the equation, I still want to be just an amazing basketball player, but like also an amazing guy. Just I don't know. I just want to wake up every day and just try to do my part, contribute to the world. So,
right. You're on your way. I know that. Coach Turner, do you have? This is one of Gonzaga's basketball players. I know you might be a little nervous, with the stardom right next to you. But what do you have for this young man?
I want to go back. First, I want to go back to the first question that you asked about the decision. It was not that easy.
It was.
I mean, unless it was just you wanting to pull people's strings, I'm going to good counsel. I don't know. Man, I can't even admit this one, but I'm going to say it. This dude, I think, got pissed off at me one time. I was like, I'll go play for Coach Jones.
Oh my God. That was in like sixth grade.
And I have to thank Ned Williams. Ned pulled me off the ledge going through this process. Because he said, and I would tell you parents out there, if you got a kid who's thinking about a bunch of schools, go get every application, sit on his desk, and tell them to pick it. They're not going to do all the essays. They're not going to do the essays for every single school. So you'll be able to find out quickly where they really want to go.
Where they're serious, right?
Where they really want to go. But Jared, Coach kind of talked about it already and asked you what it is that motivates you. Talk to us about your dream opportunity with the sport. You're a 2-sport athlete. You continue to play lacrosse and you continue to play hoops. If you could write your destiny right now, how would it play out if you went to college?
That's a really good question. Well,
he does know you.
Yeah, he does. Are you saying like career-wise or just like going into college?
Would it be a situation of going somewhere and trying to play both? Would you just choose one? I've watched and you recently have talked to me a little more about some of your why. So talk to that.
Yeah, I mean, it would be amazing if I could try to play both in college. Like, that would be a dream, but knowing how much, like, you have to put into both sports, like, it would be really hard. It would be a really big commitment. So we'll see, like, where my head's at after the end of this year with that, the double commitment thing, maybe trying to play both in college or even playing club like Cole's doing right now. But, yeah, I definitely want to take basketball at least as far as it can take me. Like, I want to play at least 2-3 years in college, definitely probably a fourth. I want to get my degree at whatever college I go to. I just want to play as long as I can, maybe go overseas, even if the NBA is an option. Somehow that becomes an option, that would be awesome. But, yeah, I just want to use basketball and sports to just take me all over the world, raise my family somewhere. Just, yeah.
Love it. I love it. So, real quick, I want to go back to what your dad was talking about with the two sports. You play those two sports as long as you possibly can, right? And you play sport as long as you can, and I love that. But I'm going to ask you, what's the best advice that Coach Pops has ever given you, if that can come to the top of your head here?
It's something he says all the time, just focus on the next play. Like, that can come into play so many parts of your life. Like, focus on the next play, just forget about it. Just keep moving forward. I used to be really hard on myself when I was younger. He can probably tell you a million stories about that. I used to get so upset when my shot wasn't falling, when I was playing bad defense or something. But yeah, focus on the next play. It's helped me so much just thinking about it. I might even get it tattooed on me one day.
I love it.
Something like that. But yeah.
So control the controllables, right?
Yeah.
All right, so I was going to introduce this, but they talked about lacrosse already, but how does one help with the other? How does lacrosse help with basketball? Basketball help with lacrosse, your rides, your clears? I remember Coach O'Neill said that. How do they intersect for you?
It's a lot about footwork. Like, some basketball footwork is just like lacrosse footwork, even like footwork drills in lacrosse. It also comes to play in football too, but yeah, basketball and lacrosse, they intertwine so much. Like, some the rotational packages you have in lacrosse, even like some of the clearing aspects of it, like when you're trying to get the ball throughout the court, like there's so much. Like, my dad, when I was young, he used to say it was like a mix of, like, lacrosse was a mix of basketball, hockey, soccer. Like, he used to say so much about that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, he's texted us a couple of videos. I've seen you lay some folks out.
Yeah.
I've seen you lay some folks out on the field. What you got?
That'll get you a personal foul in the basketball court for sure.
Right, so you can get it out on the lacrosse field.
Maybe not back in the 1980s NBA with the bad boys of Detroit.
Oh, boy.
Some of the Knicks. But, no, I love that you talk about the two sports, and I want to go back to that real quick because the footwork that you talked about, especially defensively, and the slide packages, and then you also pick and roll. Lacrosse and basketball pick and roll, it's the same. Pick, slips, right? Pop, go, read your defender, high-low, whatever it's got to do, flashing, cut into the basket. Right now, here's where I want to go with this question. Who is harder on you after a bad game, dad or mom?
Definitely dad. Like, mom's always, oh, it's going to be okay, Jared. Just focus. He'll break it down to me the whole thing. Like, everything I did wrong, everything I did right in the car, as soon as after, like, I'll be mad about a game. He'll wait for me to cool off, and then he'll start talking to me about it because after a bad game, I'm like, oh, like, I have an attitude. He doesn't want to deal with it. But,
so he waits until you've cooled off.
Yeah.
See, that's good parenting there. How about with your room getting clean, mom or dad? Second part of the question.
Both. Actually, I'd say him more. I'd say him a little bit more. Yeah.
Oh, boy. So let's talk Purple Eagle basketball. There's a fella down there who runs the program. You call him Dad. Most of Purple Eagle Nation calls him Coach Turner. What is that experience like?
I feel like people think it's, like, bigger than it is. Like, being a coach's son, it has some, like, pros and cons to it, but, you know, I don't wake up every day going, oh, my dad's the coach of Gonzaga. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do today. Like, it's never been, like, a huge struggle for me. Like, I've always kind of embraced it. Like, I'll tell people, oh, my dad's the coach down at Gonzaga. It won't seem like that big of a deal to me, but some people, it's like, oh, my God, like, that's so great. Like, that's
right.
A big opportunity. But, yeah, it's, like, do you mean, like, in a sense of playing for him or just, like, being a son in general?
Well, I'm just, you play down there, and there are going to be some tough spots. Your dad has told us right here on this podcast, he never wanted to be the kind of coach where people say, well, he made the team because he's the coach's son, or he's getting this playing time because he's the coach's son. What is that like for you? I think we know him well enough to know you're going to earn your spot. Nothing's given.
Right.
So how is that for you working into the varsity fold there?
Yeah, I mean, if I think he wanted to just, play daddy ball, I would have made varsity as a freshman, but that
right.
wasn't the case. Like, I had to earn everything I got. I'd had a year down in JV, got a lot of time to develop myself as a player, and I think I really just have grown into my role. Last year, I played some bench minutes. Like, I would get in if someone was in foul trouble in my position, but nothing was really just handed to me. I think he's done a really good job of, like, separating me from, like, being his son to me being his player. Like, I struggle a little bit with it. Like, sometimes I'll call him dad. At practice, I'll, like, slip up.
Right.
And it's just like,
it's coach, right?
Yeah, I have to catch myself. But, yeah, he does a really good job of, like, separating it for me.
I'll tell you what you do have is a cheering section, because your grandmother, she is down there. I'm sorry, Lynn, that's what I'm talking about, your grandma. You know your other grandmother. Look, I will always talk about her. I might have 4 hot dogs on my plate. Somehow your grandmother is going to make me buy another one. And I'm telling you, she's made me buy T-shirts that I know I already have in my closet. That's how good she is at fundraising. I got about 14 shirts in my closet, but, oh, no, she didn't ask me to buy another one, so I'm going to have to buy another one. So
You gave me an idea, Curtis.
You've got a great support system. What idea did I give you?
Maybe that's who we need to call in to start working on our advertising campaign.
Uh-oh.
She can make people.
There we go.
You gonna bring in Clarinda?
Hey, if that's what we got to do to pop this thing off and get
You
this
bringing
thing
Double
rolling
C
right
in the
way,
building?
Let's go.
All right, because Grandma can sell anything.
She's a businesswoman through and
And Lynn is going to be there, and Lynn's going to pull me to the side and say, well, I don't know how much you're going to see Jared play today, because it's a tough one. He doesn't get in all the games. They're going to talk about it. What you got over there, O'Neal?
So talking about that last sort of segment that you mentioned with earning your stripes, right? Making the team on your own, earning your own minutes. I'll never forget, and I said this earlier in the podcast about Cole, the first time he found out that he made the varsity team, and it was clearly something that he knew he had worked for, right, on his own. It wasn't like, well, my dad's the coach, so I made the team. Has there been a moment in the last year and a half where you've had time to reflect, not about Pops or anything else, where it was the proudest moment? You're like, you know what, darn it, I did this, I earned this. And it doesn't have to be in a game. It could be AU, it could be a game, whatever. It could be a moment academically, but something where you're like, gosh dang, I'm proud. I'm proud of what I've done.
I'd say, like, at the beginning of quarantine, my AAU team, we were doing, like, a lot of, like, 3-on-3, like, 4-on-field drills. Like, you remember at the beginning we were doing, like, pickup. And I had this one day where I was just like, I came out, like, hot. Like, I wasn't missing anything. And I was getting pats on the backs from everyone. Like, it felt so good. Because, like, when I was on Team Takeover my first couple years, like, I barely got minutes. Like, I would just come in, hit some jump shots or something, like. But that was the time where I could just feel everyone's eyes on me, like, oh, this kid's changed. Like, I've grown, like, awesome. 2 or 3 more inches. Like, it just felt amazing. So, yeah, after one of those days, I was just like, I can really do something. Like, I can really do something with basketball. Like, I could really be good at this sport. Like, and, yeah, it just felt really good for me.
Nice.
Was that, I don't know, but you can tell me, you'll remember what I'm talking about. Someone, I don't know who came to me one summer and talked about a game where you lit it up. Was that 2 summers ago?
St. John's.
Oh, St. John's, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see that game. Someone said, that kid turned, you hit a bunch of threes in that game, didn't you?
I think I had like 3 or 4, or maybe it might have been 3 that game. But the game before that, it was against John Marshall.
That's right.
I had 5 threes.
That must have been what they were talking. They told me about you, and I'm like, I don't think they know that I know who this kid is, but you set someone on fire because they were talking about that game, and I wasn't even there.
Yeah, it was crazy. I think I had 5 threes, and then like at one point I had so much confidence. I shot from the half court. You remember that? Yeah. I literally pulled it from half court. I almost made it too.
You pulled a Dame? Yeah. Didn't go dollar Dame, did you? Coach Turner, what you got for this young man?
I'm going to take you off the court, and I guess a lot has talked about us and dads and our relationships. But I'm going to ask you, Jared, what's the one thing or what's the one life lesson that your mother's taught you that stands strong with you to today?
That's good. Well, I mean, she always nurtures me. Like, she does, it's kind of the same thing you do. Keep your head forward, but she does it more in, like, I'd say, like a motherly sense. Like, she always tells me, like, never to get too much into my head. Like, oh, that's a really good one. She always says, like, you determine your day. Like, you determine how your day turns out. Like, you can make yourself happy. You can decide if it's going to be a bad day, if you're mad, sad. But if you, like, wake up in the morning and you're like, oh, you reflect on, like, everything that's happened in the past week. And you're just like, oh, this sucks. Oh, this is going to be a bad day. Like, that's what's going to be for you. But if you can wake up and, like, push all those negative thoughts out of your head, and you're like, oh, this is going to be a good day. Like, I can make this a really happy day. Like, she's always said that to me. Like, whenever I'm like, oh, this is going to be terrible. Like, I got a bad haircut or I just got a bad grade. But, yeah, she just says, like, you need to determine, like, your fate for the day.
And she's absolutely right. You are the architect of your success, and no one can design that for you, and you can't let them. Coach O'Neill, what you got over there, sir?
I want to know, is there somebody on the staff when you're having a rough practice, so you can't run immediately to Pops and say, put my arm around me here, make me feel better? Is there somebody on Coach's staff where you can kind of go to that's kind of like pick your head up?
It's like all those guys, honestly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they're really good at it. But I'd say specifically Coach Garfield, because he was my coach in middle school.
At Mater Dei. Yeah.
My 8th grade coach. He's always been there. Like, he's honestly like kind of like another father figure to me, because like he'd take me to rides. He'd take me and Blake Harper, Coach Harper's son, like to Gonzaga practices after like some Mater Dei stuff. And yeah, he'd get us snacks and stuff. He's such a good guy. Like, he's just so genuine.
And I think that's so important, especially being the son of the head coach. And, look, I know on our staff and dealing with Cole, somebody that can go over and just chat with them a little bit. But it's just curiosity out of that right there.
Jared, I'm going to go back to Mater Dei. Curtis started off at Mater Dei. I'm going to take us back there. You were there from 1st through 8th grade. Mm. What are the lessons, or what are maybe one or two things that you took from Mater Dei that has helped you thus far in your experience at Gonzaga?
Well, that's a tough question. 2 lessons. I'd say like a lesson for me, or for like
for you. It's something that's helped, maybe some things that you learned from the teachers there, the administration there, that allowed you to take forward to Gonzaga to allow you to have the success that you've had thus far.
I mean, their motto says like a lot about the school. Like, their motto really can help you, like, work hard, play hard, pray hard, be a good guy. Like, they really emphasize being a man for others, just like Gonzaga does. So, in like all aspects of life too. So it's kind of like, it's like a more of like a juvenile term for like saying being a man for others, And yeah, they really, at Mater Dei, they want you to have a good time, like, but they also are really like, they really prepare you for high school, like in their academics. Like the stuff they teach, I've like seen so much stuff that they've taught us back in Mater Dei, just like in normal like high school notebooks. Like, I think in 3rd grade at Mater Dei we were doing 5th grade math, and 5th grade we were doing 7th grade math, and we'd just do that on and on. But it would seem normal to us, like it would just click. So it's a pretty good school, like if you want to send your son there. Yeah, but the only problem I've ever had with like Mater Dei, like those type of schools, like they need a little bit more diversity. Like it's kind of hard coming from Mater Dei, like being a mixed kid. Like, you only see like 2-3 other kids that look like you on a daily basis. So I'd say like a lot of schools in the area need to do a better job of doing that, adding some more diversity to their schools.
Amen.
Fascinating. I had a conversation about that last week. Our kids obviously are mixed race kids, so I'm glad you touched on that. What's up?
I want to go back to the proudest moment, because I just thought about this when he said what he just said.
All right, let me set it up. They get 5 questions each week, and one of the questions was for you and Christian, his proudest moment of you and of Christian as a dad. You want to switch up on us?
Yeah, I want to go back.
Cause I know where you're going with this.
I think this is number one, and I didn't even think about it when you asked me the question until he's sitting here, and he just kind of talked about a little bit of the diversity piece. And we all were in this pandemic, and I think I talked to you guys about this a little bit on the podcast.
Yes, you did. Yes. Talk about it. Yeah.
For me, his AAU program that he plays with, Team Takeover, I thought they did a really good job of bringing the kids together early on in the pandemic, along with the stuff that we did from at our school. But to have a couple of parents pick up the phone and call me or text me after hearing him speak to what was going on and being a guy that was vocal, and he did that immediately with our conversations with our groups. But I wasn't on the original call when he did it with Takeover. So for me to have a couple parents, I mean, the one text came from a very close friend who's got sons who play in the WCAC and played at one of our rival schools, and for that dad to text me and say, "You and Lee have done it right." Like, you always question yourself as an adult and as a parent when you're raising your kids. But to have somebody else, a friend, confirm it and tell you, like, this is why,
right?
That's probably the proudest moment.
Yeah,
he was having those conversations
that a few times.
Yeah. With some roommates that he maybe spent a weekend with at a tournament or something like that. He was proud of you on that one. He mentioned that episode 3.
Moments.
Episode 3, I think that was.
Yeah.
My last question. I think our last question. Takeaway basketball. Takeaway lacrosse. What does Jared Turner want to do? Talk to me about the college that you would go to. What opportunity could a college provide for you academically that sends you on to that? You said you want to raise a family in life. So how do you raise that family? What's your job? What's your academic path?
There's so many things that I've thought about doing. Like, it's been from me doing journalism to me doing like voice acting. Like, when I was younger, like I always wanted to do something maybe not with theater, but like with film, being in something like that. Like, you guys really wanted me to do the play this year.
Mr. Buckley hits me up regularly, and he listens to this podcast, so he's going to hear this. He's going to come after you to get to be in one of those plays before you graduate Gonzaga.
I want to be like a personality on TV, just something, anything, with maybe being in like a short film or being a sports broadcaster, something where my face is just out there and I'm like speaking to the masses. Yeah, just doing something like that.
Cool. Love it.
Well, we got faces for radio. You got the face for TV.
Whoa. Hold on.
Well, you're Hollywood. You're an exception.
So my last question, and I'm very proud of you too, watching you grow up, because I think that's the beauty. Steve's looked over at my office and seen the experience I had, and I've looked over and seen, you guys shoot up to 6. I'm going to say 6'7". Everyone's saying 6'6".
You going to give him 6'7"?
Well, the haircut, I'm definitely 6'7".
Oh, for sure.
Right there. But very proud, even a lot of people down at Gonzaga and all over, very proud of you. But is it tough to be the second best dancer in your house?
Oh, wow. We throwing shade thrown. Wow.
I mean, I think now he's got me because I don't like to dance that much anymore. When I was in middle school, oh no, I would kill him in a dance off. Like,
but doesn't every kid? Do you have TikTok? Do you have a TikTok?
I do have a TikTok. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a TikTok, Coach
I don't
Turner?
have a
even know
TikTok,
that.
but I've thought about starting one.
Maybe we'll have to make a TikTok with Coach Turner tonight. I'm just teasing, Jared.
You went there.
Excited. Yeah, come on.
Jared, look, as I've mentioned, I've seen you since you were a good bit younger. And Steve, I want to thank you, Leah, and your family for raising such a fine young man. Jared, you've got a great village behind you, so we wish you the best in the years to come. Take it easy on my son out there, please. Ladies and gentlemen, you can check out Jared's game on I Street. He's a junior now. We look forward to this pandemic being over so we can see you actively on Monumental Sports or whatever it is. Ken Marangolo can call some games. First Amendment. We look forward to your continued success. Ladies and gentlemen, Jared Turner.
Thank you, Jared. Thanks for coming on with us.
Thank you, young man.
Thanks for taking a TO.
And there's dinner waiting for you.
I'm going to eat some.
Now he's going to eat. He came in here saying he wasn't going to eat. Now he's going to eat. Paula, you ready to take us to break? Or, gentlemen, let's chop it up. Jared Turner here in our studio. First ever studio guest that we've had. Great to have him in here. And like I said, this is not just the script I'm reading. Dude, you and Leah have done a great job. And now he's out of the studio. I will say, that boy looked just like his mama. Good Lord.
Yes, he does.
He looked just like his mama, don't he? You got to be proud. Coach O'Neal, we usually chop it up. I'm going to give him a moment to digest that.
Yeah, look, it starts with that village. It starts with that base, and he's got two incredible parents. And in terms of the larger family around him, that it's no mystery. And I've seen Jared since he's been a little dude, and watching him either running on the field or coming down to basketball camp or coming to lacrosse camp or just seeing him at, like we talked about earlier. It's so fun to see the journey of these young men. And it's kind of freaking me out a little bit, to be honest, because life's going fast, man. I remember when he was this tall, and I'm sitting here, and to have him be as distinguished and just calm and cool answering those questions, it's a cool cat, man, right there. But
well,
Steve, you and Leah have done an amazing job.
They say don't blink. Don't blink, man.
Oof.
Because you brought him home, and now he's 6'6", brother.
Yeah.
And let me go back one step further, and it's a good look. Very impressed, obviously, with the athleticism and what he's done on a lacrosse field and a basketball court. But it's the little moments. It's the little moments where I see him in the hallway, or I see him outside of our offices, or he comes in and sits down and just chats for a minute, where you just see the maturity and you see the kindness in the eyes and just what an awesome young man he is. So I got a lot to be proud of.
Kudos to y'all.
I think, Casey, you certainly have had the experience. You experienced it before me, but I think the coolest thing in the experience with him being down there for me is to hear what the others think.
Right.
We say this about our team and our players. We want them to represent their family, represent God, represent the school in the right way. And when you have a teacher maybe pop up on you and talk to you about how your kid is in the class, and I had an experience like that last week. Is teachers talking about how the fact that she can tell there's some other guys who are struggling a little bit with the online learning, and that you'd be amazed that your son's stepping up and kind of help leading in the class. So when you hear those things, it makes you proud, makes you stick your chest out a little bit. It's always being able to be good to go home and tell mom things that other people are speaking about her child.
And I think the beauty of tonight is to be able to highlight those young men. Both Cole and Jared are going to be successful, right? They're growing into fine young men. But to highlight them, because a lot of times over the years, with the success of basketball and lacrosse or coaching in this, it's you never want them to feel anything but that love. And to highlight those two boys today, good stuff. Curtis, thank you. And speaking of another kind, sharp, smart, tough young man,
we've got a Landon Bear in the house. Let me see. I've got to come up with an intro like off the cuff. Ladies and gentlemen, he was born in 2010. In March of 2019, he got his acceptance package from the Landon School. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the studio, Mr. Adam Cross. Adam, thanks for taking. You look nervous, boy. Thanks for taking the TO. You got to cut his mic on. Cut his mic on. There you go. Thanks for taking the TO with us today. How's it going, fella?
Good.
All right. Well, these guys want to interview you. I don't get the first question. Coach O'Neill, you get the first question.
Adam, being nervous is a good thing, okay? Just remember that. Embrace that. Just say, okay, I got this.
It means you care about doing well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, my first question, what's the best advice you've ever received from your dad and your mom?
Uh-oh.
When my dad said I got into Landon, that was the best. I mean, that's not advice.
Proud of you, right? Work hard.
Slow down probably because I always like to go fast, but then when I slow down and check my work on like math, I really struggle in that. I got a really good grade in a quiz today.
What did you get today?
A 93.
My man. Yep.
Yes, sir.
Because you did what?
Slow down and check my answers. And then for my mom, keep it up, maybe, because during basketball a lot, I tend to give up sometimes when we're like doing good. But then she says keep it up, so I don't slow down.
Keep going. Never give up. That's good advice.
So Dad says slow down. She says keep it up. This boy's conflicted.
No, but that's the balance. That's the balance right there. And you know what? That's a tough question. And for the audience out there, you're in 5th grade, right?
Yeah.
There are not many 5th graders that can sit in a seat and put the headphones on and answer those questions as well as you did. Great job, young man.
Thank you.
Coach Turner, what do you have for this young man?
Adam, you got a big sister.
Yeah.
What are the things that she teaches you that makes you love her to death?
When she broke her leg, that taught me a lot because it taught me patience because I wasn't able to play basketball with her in my room. So yeah, and also she taught me a lot of things, like in Monopoly, I would cheat her out of trades. Like I would give her let's say one of my browns and light blues for a boardwalk, and she would say yes, like that.
Oh, so he's working that angle.
He's trying. You're working the good side of the boy. You're giving her all the bum properties.
Yeah.
I love it.
Hey, I got another thing real quick. Your dad shared a photo with me where you had the tie on the other day and you're going in for a photo shoot. Are you going to be a model someday, young man?
No.
You looking sharp. Or was that just Dad getting you all ready to go that day? And
I
Mom,
was just
maybe.
getting ready to go. Me and Jared were talking about it, what we want to study in college, and I'm just thinking about like an interior designer.
I like that. I like that. Okay.
I could use you at my house right now. We can get you started early.
You want him on the fence? You want him staying in the fence, or you want him inside?
I want him on the interior, baby.
All right, real quick. I got another two-part question. What is your favorite sport? Okay. And second part of the question is, more importantly, what is your favorite subject?
My favorite sport is basketball. My favorite subject is language arts or science.
All right, I have a question for you, very important. Whose French toast do you like better, mine or mom's?
Or
what? Mine or mom's? That's the choice.
yours.
All right, but whose baking do you like better? I know the answer to that.
Mom's.
Definitely that. Okay, what do you want to say to the people before you go? Give what's a piece of advice that you've gotten you want to share with the world?
Take the faster route. I learned that in my summer game at Avanti.
What did you learn?
Take the shorter route.
When
I was at Avanti.
Right, what were you doing? Playing offense, defense?
I was playing offense, and then the kid fell on the ground, so then I didn't know what to do.
Oh my goodness, I got the video. Let me tell them for you. So look, he's dribbling, he's short corner extended, right by the 3-point line. This kid falls down. Instead of going, Adam steps, he dribbles over him and steps over the kid. He did a Tai Lu. Like, hey, I did the Tai Lu. He stepped over. I'll show you the highlight one day. Is that what it is? Take the quickest point between you and the basket is that straight line. Is that what you did?
Shortest and fastest route. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
All right.
Good
Well, Adam,
advice.
we are proud of you. You know what? I'm going to ask myself, well, I already told you guys earlier, my proudest moment so far is when he got into Landon. He walked in, I think they went to Costco and got some Costco pizza maybe.
Yep, and we went to Popeyes. Yeah.
And they went to Popeyes because he didn't know at the time he was bringing home dinner for his little celebration that he had gotten into Landon. It was Chrissy maybe, him and Chelsea, and who was it?
It was just me and Chrissy. Chelsea stayed back at the house.
All right, so you and Chrissy have gone to get the food, and he comes back in. He walks in, he's like, wait, I got in? Like, that was a real good moment. That was a real good moment. And I'll say one more moment that you guys have both had. I had with him. He's 10, maybe 6, 7 years ago. When your son looks up at you and you realize on that day that he wants to be just like you, when he looks at you and looks for nothing replaces that day. Yeah. And for people, it happens at different times. When he looks at you and you realize, wait a minute, he just put on a little aftershave, had nothing to shave, but he's doing it because I do it. You know, those are the moments right there that make being a dad worth it. And you don't know, but you do. It's a different relationship with boys and girls. They're both equally strong.
Oh, yeah.
Equally strong, but it's different with a boy, right?
Look, I would not, trade anything ever. It's experiences and it's stuff I'd never been the father of a boy. And then I was never a father of 2 girls, right?
Right.
So you kind of go through these different things. And, look, Cole and I are outnumbered at home. So, those 3 girls at home.
We got an even split in my house.
That's right. You're playing the 2-on-2 defense. We're playing a zone. Cole and I are trying to figure it out. But I am so proud of these kids. And, look, I'm proud of you tonight. It is not easy. I'm telling you, 10 years old and you're sitting here talking on this thing. And just awesome, man. Awesome. Proud of you, man. And I'll never say this, but go Bears.
Yeah.
Outside of you wearing that Landon, go Bears.
Ladies and gentlemen, he hails from Kensington, Maryland. He's a Landon Bear when he gets his jersey, number 42, Adam Cross. Woo.
Good stuff, Adam.
Thank you, sir. Go get some dinner. All right, Paula, I think it's time to go to break. Let's take it to break, Paula. A Squared Home and Office Solutions. A Squared is the go-to source for home and office network and audiovisual solutions. They will link technology to your lifestyle seamlessly. Visit homeandofficesolutions.com for more info.
Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill would like to thank our friends of the program: Richard Butts Jr., Jean and Clorinda Carter, Sean Clifton, Paula Cross, Justin O'Neill, Susan and Brendan O'Neill Sr., Amy O'Neill Richard, Damian and Brooke Stevenson, Marcus Taylor. If you'd like to become a friend of the program, go to www.turnerando'neill.com and click Become a Friend. We invite your questions, comments, and show ideas. Simply go to www.turnerando'neill.com and click Submit an Idea.
This segment of Take It To You with Turner and O'Neill is sponsored by
Ray Cruz. Take advantage of historically low mortgage rates for your first, next, or refinance mortgage with Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage. Ray believes the home mortgages should be about relationships. With rates as low as 2.875%, you can now save on your monthly mortgage or choose to cut years off your mortgage, saving tens of thousands. To learn more about your options, call Ray Cruz at 301-761-2278 or apply online at raypcruz.com.
The 2-minute drill.
Ladies and gentlemen, back for another week to talk NFL fantasy football. Our man in the streets, Joey T from Capitol Grill, downtown D.C.
Hello, how's everybody doing tonight?
What's up, Joey T? I want you to talk to me. We had another crazy week in the NFL. We had a skirmish on one field where someone got suspended. We had some big hits, but you're here to talk about fantasy points. Holla at me, Joey. What you got?
A couple of guys that did really well, some younger running backs that hopefully were plugged into your lineup, starting with Zach Moss, a rookie running back from the Buffalo Bills. Has had a slow start to the year, but this weekend he had 14 carries for 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's a monster week from him. Also a guy, Damian Harris, year 2 running back from the New England Patriots. I've talked about him a couple times on this 2-minute drill. He had 16 carries, 102 yards, and a touchdown. Finally starting to see some dividends there. But my guy, last week, I told you to go get DJ Dallas from the Seattle Seahawks. My man did me proud, plugged him in a couple lineups myself, 41 yards and 1 touchdown on the ground, but 5 catches, 17 yards, and another touchdown through the air. He was the 4th running back on the week. Hope you plugged him in.
All right, Joey, what about guys who just didn't cut it this week?
Oh, man, Jonathan Taylor, man, he's really hurting my feelings out here, man. He was supposed to be one of the best rookie running backs in the class. He just hasn't put it together. His vision looks suspect. It's kind of not jumping off the bandwagon yet, but 22 rushing yards and 2 receptions for 9 yards, no touchdowns. I'm going to need more from you, young buck. Amari Cooper. Amari Cooper from the Cowboys. A lot of people drafted him in the high rounds, expecting him to be a wide receiver 1. He had 1 catch for 5 yards. That's gross. He has a bad quarterback situation, but he's supposed to do a little better than that.
Joey T, wait a minute. It's the weekly question. He got 5 more yards than me. Is that what you're saying?
He did. But that was on a catch. I don't know if you can get 5 yards receiving in the NFL.
No faith in me, Joey.
I mean, you know, I got to say, that might be a little tougher than running up behind the offensive line.
Okay, all right. Give me another guy who didn't cut it.
Lastly, Rashard Higgins. Odell Beckham got hurt last week. A lot of people thought Rashard Higgins was a must-start this week. He had 1 catch for 14 yards. It was a bad weather game. I'm not totally off of him. I think he might be a good ad for the rest of the season, but he let owners down this week.
All right. What are we looking forward to this week, sir?
Well, I mean, some guys you always want to try to pick up before they start doing big things. Akeem Akers tops my list. He's another rookie from the LA Rams. Hasn't had a whole lot of chances, but Darrell Henderson got a little nicked up this weekend. They're on a bye, so he may get cut. He may be on the waiver wire. Pick him up, grab him. He might have some second half season value. Speaking of injuries, my boy George Kittle was out for pretty much the remainder of the fantasy season, which really hurts. But Jordan Reed, former Washington football team tight end, filled in nicely for him in the beginning of the season. He's coming off an injury, but if he can't get right or gets re-injured, which is not out of the realm of possibilities, Ross Dwelly did catch a touchdown when Kittle went out this weekend. And lastly, Austin Hooper is another guy who might have got cut after his injury. If he's available, scoop him up. He should be coming back soon. And obviously they're throwing the ball a lot in Cleveland.
All right. He's Joey T. He's at Capitol Grill, downtown D.C. If you want to find him, if you want some midweek, end of the week, right before kickoff advice, find him at Joey T 5656 on Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, our man, Joey T.
Thanks a lot, everybody. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, Joey. Now, back to Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Our weekly sports wrap-up is here. Trevor Lawrence was inactive for Clemson's game against Boston College. Without his leadership, Clemson sort of stumbled, through that win. This Saturday, Lawrence may be able to travel with the Tigers. He will once again be inactive for Clemson's matchup against Notre Dame. How will the Tigers do without Lawrence this week? And they're still a favorite, you said, right? 5.5 maybe?
I think it's a 5.5, 6-point favorite. But look, there's nobody, again, maybe a year ago when there's 80,000 Fighting Irish fans that are in the stands and all that. I mean, Clemson is talented. And that backup quarterback, he's a true freshman.
He's a true freshman, but he's also a 5-star. He was one of the best high school quarterbacks in the country a year ago. And you look at him, I mean, he's as big as most of the seniors on their team.
He's as big as a tight end.
But his ability, what I was impressed with was his ability to stay calm under pressure. They got down. He never played like he was rattled.
Yeah.
They, gotta give hats up to their offensive coordinator, who found ways to get him settled in.
Right.
Call the right plays.
For him, yeah.
Doesn't hurt having maybe the best running back in college basketball. college football.
ETN?
Sitting behind you that you can hand the ball off to and allow yourself to relax and watch him do the work. But then he made throws. Like, he's got a cannon. He's got a cannon. And, what happens against Notre Dame this week, we'll see. I mean, this will be a great test for him. But I think having that ability to come back in that stage in the first game, he's going to be ready to go.
I mean, what a luxury. I mean, yeah, right. Get that first game out of you and just kind of get the nerves, if he even had any, because they didn't show him.
No, he didn't.
You see the pictures of his, if they kind of panned to his parents in the stands?
His dad was
going nuts.
Awesome.
I've heard his dad is, at halftime of his high school basketball games, great athlete, that his dad, I think, was 390 or something. This monster of a man would come in and put on like a dunk show for the
Get out.
Yeah, I read it today.
His dad's also big time bodyguard.
Yeah, he's been a bodyguard for a lot of really, really famous people. We'll see. I think that's the only good game maybe there's a couple SEC games coming up this weekend, but Tigers are good, and what a luxury it is for Dabo to just put in the next guy, and they got a lot of depth.
Get richer.
Let's turn our attention to the NFL. We talked about the Patriots, the Steelers, 7-0. First time they've been 7-0 since 1978. The Packers, they had a tough one this weekend, but how bad are the Jets? They've scored the fewest points of any team by far at only 98 points over 8 games. Only the Cowboys have given up more points than they have given up. Adam Gase, in his coaching experience, has only 1 year with a winning record, the 2016 Dolphins. With this season half over and already an 0-8 record, this will be his 4th year in a row with a non-winning record, and as of next Monday, he'll be 0-9. When does he get the pink slip? They doubled down on him a few weeks ago and said they're sticking with him, but this is bad.
It's really bad. The answer is
they're scoring like 11 points a game.
But who's gonna step in and lead the troops?
Who wants the job? This sounds like worse than when the Cleveland job was open. Years ago, no one wanted to take that job. Who wants to go? Todd Bowles had the job, right?
There'll be somebody that wants the job. Somebody wants to get paid.
Bring back Rex Ryan. Bring back Rex Ryan. That's the only time they've sort of been successful in the last 2.
Actually, I didn't think about that.
No, he's not. He's not going back there.
No, I'm not suggesting that, but I forgot he was there. Yeah.
Well, maybe Bill Belichick comes down the road with the Patriots.
Whoa. I doubt that.
No, of course
still in the division, Paula. He'd still be in the division.
I know.
I'm totally kidding. Look, Jets, I don't know what to say, but with Pittsburgh being 7-0, the one consensus to me of what I believe is the top teams, obviously teams that can score, but it's defense. It is defense. That Pittsburgh defense is tough.
Right.
They made some plays yesterday.
Did they? What about that final play?
I thought it was pass interference.
Yeah, okay.
Come on.
All right.
Would you review it and go back?
I don't know.
Weak.
But it was pass interference. You can be weak. You can be weak. You can be whatever it was. They missed the call.
And the Patriots, you mentioned it. The Patriots, it's just
they're gonna get healthy real quick next week, aren't they?
Yeah.
They play the Jets.
You hope.
Well, I have no dog in that fight. I'm a Skins fan, and I don't know what to say about that.
Well, the Jets keep giving me hope because my team's doing better than them.
Yeah, we are. And those Cowboys, they lost another one. So it's tough down there in the Big D. Jerry Jones ain't happy.
Makes Mondays always
Doesn't it, though?
great.
Yes, it does.
When the Cowboys lose.
Right. Let's turn our attention to the NBA. The coaching shuffle is in full swing with more than 25% of the NBA teams making coaching changes in this offseason. Just shout at me, whatever comes to mind. Glenn Rivers, Doc Rivers is in Philly. What do you guys think?
A needed piece for that team to move in the direction that franchise wants to go.
Rapid fire, whatever you got.
Great move.
Steve Nash is in Brooklyn, and now D'Antoni has joined his staff. Remember, D'Antoni coached him, and maybe this is what Brooklyn does to make that decision look better. He's going to be getting coached up by his former coach.
Got a lot of toys to work with up there in Brooklyn.
It wasn't just D'Antoni. He hired one of the top Spurs assistants as well. And for me, it's not always about what you know. Sometimes it's about who you know.
And who knows you? Who's want to come with you, right? Mm-hmm. All right, Billy Donovan is now leading the Bulls.
I want to see him go back to college.
I agree with you.
Personally.
The most success was with the Gators.
I want to see him back in college.
All right, J.B. Bickerstaff is now the head coach of the Cavs. Is that a losing proposition?
Is that the New York Jets of the NBA right now?
I just don't think they got enough pieces.
Them or the Hawks.
I feel like
they got Trey down there though.
Or the Wizards. Oh, sorry.
You hope that they can do some things in the offseason, but I don't know if that's going to happen.
Steven Silas has taken over in Houston. That team is halfway there, right?
They got the toys, like I said, like the Nets and the Rockets. Come on.
They got to find a way to get there.
We talked about it, right?
They're two studs on the same page.
Oh, this next one makes me.
Stan Van Gundy is now with the
you guys were
Pelicans. Oh boy, Stan is. Well, you know what? Here's the beauty of Stan Van Gundy going to the Pelicans. I don't have to hear his voice commentating the games I watch anymore.
He's not the worst out there though.
Okay, no, I don't think he's the worst.
There's a couple guys I'd love to put on mute when they're on.
Oh God, yes. So what do you think about him in New Orleans?
I mean, Stan's a good coach now.
All right.
And he's definitely has some pieces to work with down there.
Okay.
So we'll see.
All right. Nate Bjornken, can I even say his name, is now the head coach in Indiana. Do we know any? Was he a Spurs guy? Or was he Toronto? He came from Toronto.
Toronto.
Yeah.
Toronto.
Do we know anything about him?
He's got to figure out to sit down and have a major conversation with Vic.
Yeah.
Because, the rumors is he wants to leave.
Right. All right. Ty Lue takes over for the Clippers.
I love Ty Lue.
Since he was under Doc, does he build with what he's got from where they are? Or does he tear this thing down and not like get rid of players, but does he implement his own system or try to continue what Doc was doing?
I mean, I'm sure he's going to try to implement a little bit of his own system. I think what he needs to do is sit down with his two stars and talk about how they want this to go as a group.
Right.
Because they have the talent to be able to win it all.
Right.
They
Absolutely
definitely have the talent
to win it all.
So he sits in a great seat.
Right.
Don't mess it up.
Tibbs is the coach of the Knicks. Here's my thing with Tibbs. I value defense. I think it's super important. I saw Tibbs firsthand up close in Minnesota. My guys out there, Tibbs likes to play a slow, methodical style of basketball, and these young cats want to get up and down the court. Is he going to – and New York's a tough place to coach. Right. They'll have your head. By game 30, don't be 10 and 20.
His style doesn't – in my opinion, his style doesn't fit what New York should be about.
Right. Okay. We agree.
Just think of the city of New York doesn't fit what it should be about.
Right.
And that team needs some uplifting.
Yeah.
They need some excitement.
Right.
Even if they're going to lose some tough games or lose some close games, they need some excitement in that town.
Absolutely.
Look, I don't know that he has enough pieces.
I could care. I mean, I just want Washington Wizards to have that up tempo.
Washington Wizards is nowhere on this script.
It's not.
And that's twice you brought them up.
I'm speaking from the heart in my hometown team.
Are you the producer? Do you write these scripts?
No, but I'm saying, we're talking about the Knicks having fun, and they
don't give me no microphone.
Who cares what's going on up there with the Knicks? I'm teasing.
All right. OKC still has a vacancy. That's the last one.
David Vanderpool.
We know a guy who's ready.
I'm just going to leave it right there. I don't have to speak to anything else. David Vanderpool.
Enough said. Well, that is our weekly sports wrap-up. Let's take it to break.
Be sure to listen at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Buzzsprout, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, or Google Podcasts. Download the app and subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss an episode of Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill.
At Peace Players International, we use the power of sport to unite, educate, and inspire young people to create a more peaceful world. We offer sport programming, peace education, and leadership development to those living in communities of conflict. We challenge the hate that is driven by the fear of our differences. Find out more at www.peaceplayers.org.
We invite your questions, comments, and show ideas. Simply go to www.turnerando'neill.com and click Submit an Idea.
Connect with us socially on Instagram and Facebook at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, on YouTube, just search Turner and O'Neill, then subscribe. And of course, you can visit our website at www.turnerando'neill.com. Building your brand is an important part of your business growth. By partnering with Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill, you'll gain the exposure and brand recognition behind our podcast. With thousands of listeners, subscribers, and website visitors, your company will benefit from our popularity online and during the podcast. Our partners also benefit from our exposure on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Buzzsprout, and Apple Podcasts. Inquire today and let's partner to build your brand.
The final word is brought to you by
Healthy Baller. Become your own success story. At Healthy Baller, our team of specialists is committed to providing injury recovery and strength and conditioning training tailored to individual needs. Watching our clients break barriers fuels our passion for athletic development. With scheduled sessions or drop-in classes, Healthy Baller has a success story waiting for you. We offer group and team training, individual workouts, or semi-private training. Call 844-622-5537 or visit healthyballer.com.
Now, back to Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to become a friend of the program. We rely on contributions to bring this podcast to you each week. Contribution amounts start at $25, and of course, your contribution will get your name listed on our website and mentioned each podcast as a friend of the program. We also offer advertising opportunities for businesses looking to gain exposure. You know, we have thousands of folks who listen and watch each week. Put your brand in front of those thousands of listeners and viewers and watch your numbers soar. Go to www.turnerando'neill.com and click Partnerships. Connect with us socially on Facebook, Instagram at Turner O'Neill Podcast, Twitter at Turn On Podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill. Follow, like, add, and spread the word. We're on Spotify, Amazon. Look, wherever you get your podcast information, on your Google machine, on your Mac machine, just come find us. We'll be there. Type in Turner and O'Neill. We will show up. Feel free to email your show questions, content ideas, comments, and critiques. We may not get to all submissions, but we do want to hear from you. Turner O'Neill Podcast at gmail.com. I'm getting excited, guys. In a few weeks, the ladies are taking over.
Y'all better get ready.
The ladies are going to take over the podcast. I don't know what they have in store. I did get an early leak, though. I think they might fire off some starting five at us. So, guys, we better put our heads together and come up with a starting five for them. We should swap starting fives. That's what we'll do. Can we agree to that? Can you speak for the ladies?
I am not going to speak on behalf of the ladies. No,
I can't even get that. I can't even get that. Okay, all right. Well, we'll prepare a starting five for them. We're going to flip it on them. But look, before we sign off, we thank you, Paula, our engineer. Any words, Paula, for the listeners and viewers?
This was another great show, and it was great hearing you guys talk to your sons and hearing, the relationships that you guys have. And, it's just special to hear a father-son relationship and, Coach Turner, seeing you actually sitting here talking with Jared, it's just a beautiful thing to, see and hear, and then hearing you speak to Cole, and then of course you speaking to our son Adam. It's a beautiful thing, So thank you guys for doing this with your sons.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Well, for the past 3 weeks, you have jumped right in to engineer some great episodes. DJ Chrissy, I had a conversation with her today. She is no longer on strike. Can I let the cat out the bag? She has been doing a great thing for us. We'll tell you about that sometime. We'll let her talk about that maybe when she comes back. She will be back. I think we talked, Paul. I talked to her earlier. I think she may, depending on the timing, she may come back Thursday night, but she will be back by Friday. So that means she'll get a great weekend under her belt, and we'll see her next Monday. I believe we welcome the opportunity, Paula, to have you take over the controls at any time in the future. I must thank you two gentlemen, Coach Turner and Coach O'Neill. Thanks to our donors, sponsors, and partners, we encourage our audience to support those who support us. Gentlemen, as I hear there's a clarinet going on, so I think there's a clarinet lesson over there. Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
I mean, I think Paula said it all. There's nothing like those relationships of father-son, father-daughter, mother-son, mother-daughter. And this was fun. Tonight was fun for me to have an opportunity to see us all have our sons on the podcast and have some conversation and listen to their growth. And so another great one.
Well, in about 5 or 6 years, we could bring Adam back, and we'll see how he's grown from this episode to that one.
Well,
Coach O'Neill, what you got?
Compliment to you two. I guarantee you 5-6 years, that young man is, and your daughter, Chelsea, they're amazing. You guys have done an amazing job.
We try.
I teach to the boys at school. I mean, our first principle is family, and there's nothing more important than family. And tonight was about that. So proud of the young men, proud of the families, and holidays are coming up. So just tell them you love them.
But these girls are going to take a TO, and they're going to take over the podcast. Y'all are going to need an engineer. I bet y'all got Chrissy in your back pocket. She's going to engineer that thing for you.
I love it.
She won't tell. As we do each week, we will end this episode with a quote. This week, Coach Steve Turner. The quote is yours, sir.
I was joking with you guys. I did have a quote, but I'm glad you said it because it made me switch.
All right.
And tonight's podcast made me go here with this quote because I feel like I saw that and I see that in our young men. And that is, you have to expect things of yourself before you can do them. And I'm watching these young men show themselves. I mean, my own child talked to it. There's things that he has to be able to do to help himself grow. And it always doesn't come from us at home. But these guys are all expecting things of themselves. And that's why they're all having success in the way that they are.
Paula, pull the plug.
Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill would like to thank our partners, sponsors, and donors. Our partners, the Tamara Cusick Team, Dynamic DJ Entertainment, Ray Cruz and MCF Mortgage, Healthy Baller, and Insurance Alliance Group, LLC. Our sponsors, O'Neill Development, LLC, Next Level Lacrosse, Peace Players International, A Squared Home and Office Solutions, and Collins Funeral Home. Our donors, Redwood Investments, Justin O'Neill, donor, and Winsight Media. Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is produced by Curtis Cross and engineered by DJ Chrissy. All material is the exclusive property of the podcast and may not be copied, rebroadcast, or used in any way without written consent of the podcast. The views, ideas, and commentary of podcast guests are solely their own and not necessarily endorsed by the podcast. You may submit questions, podcast ideas, and commentary to turnero'neillpodcast@gmail.com. No compensation is offered for submitted material. Should we choose to use your idea, comment, or question, you agree to your likeness, social media identity, and or information being used on the podcast. Take a TO with Turner and O'Neill is recorded weekly and distributed via Google Podcasts, Spotify, Buzzsprout, Apple Podcast, and other popular podcast platforms. Some portions of the podcast may be pre-recorded. Be sure to search and subscribe. Join us socially on Facebook and Instagram at Turner O'Neill Podcast, on Twitter at Turn On Podcast, and on YouTube. Search Turner and O'Neill and subscribe. Our website is www.turnerando'neill.com. Partnership opportunities are available.